Good evening, we are back again, another live stream, and I hope you can hear my voice very well. It's still this thing on my breast here, on my t-shirt or whatever it's called, my sweater, that's the right word. So I mixed a little bit mid-low end so that my sound is a little bit warmer. But it's a very good microphone, so it doesn't pick up the keyboard playing. And today, my idea was for today to do some Punch-2 stuff. So, this is Punch-2, and it's a drum machine, drum synthesizer, which has synthesis and sample-based. And it has a built-in groove sequencer, that's how we call it. And yeah, many options. So if you look at my keyboard, you see if in the upper left corner, you can see this is the first one. It uses slices, and slice essentially, if I go to the edit page, you see I made them yellow. It's essentially, I also can play them, can hear them. Bit soft, I can make it louder. So it can slice a loop for you, and then it transforms them, you can do it yourself, into the patch you like to have sliced. So you see the color setting, it's not necessary. If you see here, we can have different options. So slice is yellow, or you say the color of the preset, which is then this one would be, but I take slice as a whole. So there are different color options. So for preset, it goes even per pad, and global, it's essentially for each drum kit, you have them the same color. So now I picked yellow because I want to point out the slices. And slice is essentially, you pick a drum loop and then you throw it over the different pads. So essentially, if you would go to Punch-2, you have up here all the pages, which are the menus. The most straightforward maybe the manager, where you have all the presets, kit presets, and you have drum presets. Drum presets are particular sounds, for instance, only bass drums or only sample-based sounds. Okay, but let's keep the kit preset manager. That's this one. I'm now in the Rob Live. I can pick there a, let's see. These are maybe not that handy for showing it. Let's go to the introduction bank. Here I have Upbeat Tabla. So that's a preset in the introduction bank. I go to the main, and when I hit the note G3 sharp, it plays the audition. Here you can see audition sequencer. Well, the sequencer is in page pattern. Here's the pattern. And there you have two options. You can have it that it plays the sequencers, which are in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sequencers with each 4 tracks. And you have a loop play, but that's not used now. So the slice is not used. So when I play this one, it does say audition sequencer, and the sequencer down here, you see audition sequencer mode. That's different from the normal audition mode. The sequencer audition mode is that it plays the breaks and grooves after each other. And you see first one time lengths. So it's like building up a song, like an old style drum computer where you say, play this now for 8 bars, play that. So this makes that you can make some more variation if you keep the audition note. Well, if I go to the audition mode, then also the keyboard appears. You see this one is the audition, and then it only plays which is selected here. So now you see the changes. Here it changes now to audition, and this is only selecting. So now it keeps on the same. And if you pick then here audition sequencer mode, then it plays, and then you see here it changes to audition sequencer. Then you got a pattern sequencer. And this you control here. Well, then you also have the option host start. So if I would play now, it should start. You need to put that on manually. So these are the two modes which you have in Punch-2. You have the audition mode and you have the audition sequence mode. Audition mode, here you pick then which is playing. If you hit the audition note, this one, so you can change that here. But that's always one type of group. And if you have audition sequence mode, then it follows the whole sequence here. So that is the two modes you have with the pattern. Well, people think, okay, how is this working inside your music host? What are you recording then? So if I would go to my sequencer and I would record, for instance, so if I go back again, pick another one. Okay, let's see what is happening. You see each, so groove 2 is doing the hi-hats, groove 3, or maybe, okay, so you see here the keyboard, so it starts at note C3. Here you can see it also on the keyboard in the upper left corner. So if I start recording this, I start recording this is what is happening. So let me show it here. I start recording the sequencer note. Watch here the keyboard. And what you see appear inside the sequencer is essentially the note on and note off. So let me quantize this. Maybe it fits nicely. So these are the C3 is the bass drum sequence, which is groove 1. D3 is the hi-hat and open hi-hat. If you go here, it's the groove 2. Then groove 3 is the note E, like a little tom. So that's how you record the sequencer. And essentially, the other notes which are below C3, so C3 does the bass drum and the snare, but everything below the C3, so the first 2 octaves are the 24 drum pads, which I'm playing now. Hear that? And that's the cool thing, you can trigger these sequences and still play the other ones. Well, it's a good question in the chat room if it puts it out in MIDI. Well, what it puts, it doesn't have a MIDI output. We don't have a MIDI output. Let me see. But we can export MIDI, so we can export these grooves as a MIDI file, and then you can load them into your music host. The only point is, and that's why we added the sequencer, is that it doesn't add the changes of the parameter. So here in the menu you can export the sequencer. So if you have a cool sequence like this one, you can MIDI export, no problem. Only problem is that the pattern and each sequencer has additional feature. So if I go to groove 1, if I click, you see groove 1 lights up, and here with the pen I can edit it. And here you have the 4 tracks. So the 4 tracks in groove 1 show up here. You see in the background it does say pad 1, pad 3, pad 1, pad 1. So it's only track 1 and track 2 used. Pad 1 is your bass drum, and pad 3 is the snare. So if I can add the snare, and now comes the trick. Here I can change the tuning. And that's of course not possible if you have a MIDI export. It doesn't change these extra parameters. Or I can change the panning. It's a very short snare. I can make it longer because it's this one. Go to the edit page, amp envelope. And that's the power of this pattern. But to record this, you have to play the sequencer. So C3, in this case, is playing groove 1. If I click on the pencil, I can edit it here. If I go to D3, groove 2 plays, and I can click here to edit it. These are hi-hats. Okay, pan it. And that's why we make this. Even envelope speed can be addressed, which is, if I'm not wrong, in groove 1. Yeah, C tune, envelope speed. Make this one shorter. So these are the extra parameters. You have velocity for the sound, for the snare, but also the panning, the tuning, flame you can do, envelope speed, which makes the sound shorter. So all these things are then not in this MIDI file. So therefore this Punch-2 has some extra cool features and is inside the Punch-2. And also you also could do it in a live situation. You could trigger then the groove. So if I would go to something else, let's see if I find something else. I go to the bank manager. See what we have here. So I trigger now these sounds. So if I would have a song, okay, I have Cubase here. Let me shut this down. This one I can delete. So for instance, if you say I have here a particular thing going on, I can say 5. So let's see if it works. It's a bit slow, isn't it? Okay, let me do it a little bit different. So a little bit higher tempo. So. So what I did now, here you can see it appear, this one here. So this is what I played. And you see these are the notes on, note off, essentially from the note C3 up to, so this range. And then you can play live different patterns. So here you see it appearing. Notes only groove 1, and here 4 comes in. Break 4. Ain't that cool? So it's a very versatile if you use the arpeggiator in a creative way. So again, and again, I can still play live the sounds. But you need to know it. And of course, the sequencer, we call it pattern because it generates 4 pattern, and audition is a combination of this pattern. We call it groove 1, 2, 3, and 4, break 1, 2, 3, and 4. And essentially, these are all the same 4 sequencers, but they have a different name so that we guide you a little bit in how you could use it. You could use then break 1, which is the note C3 sharp, for making a break, but you're totally free to do it yourself. So there are many presets that use this pattern system, and you can MIDI export. It's possible, but you can do it in the command button here or in the control menu. There it is as well, but it doesn't take over the tuning and other stuff. Okay, let me see the chat room because we have some questions. So let me see if everybody welcome. Tom is also in the room. Cool, cool. Everybody welcome. So I want to attention a little bit to Punch, because Punch is not for the fainted of heart, but if you are into sound creation, thinking out of the box, it's absolutely fantastic. But you need to spend some time in learning it. So last week I had a little bit of a thing which in the Rob Live folder I had this another drum where I created essentially a different analog drum sound by using the models. I mentioned also that you can click on the EQ here, click it on off, filter, compressor, need to tweak it, the limiter. And there's a mono stereo, which makes the sound, the low end, mono, but it's definitely not that much needed because the sound is very clean. But some ask for it, so this master section down here is of course also up here, but then more fully with the EQ. If you want to change, you have parallel EQ option, compressor, limiter, yeah, whatever, mono stereo, the high pass filter. So this is the big master screen, in which you also have then the volume control. Another cool thing about, of course, this is the main page, is that if you are here and click on the icon, you go to a pad 1, which is the bass drum. But if you stay on the main page, also down here, you can, if you select the page, you can do some basic stuff. You see here we have then pad 2 is C#1, and here you don't have to go to the advanced page to do, for instance, adding a little bit more distortion, or throwing it into an FX, or picking another preset. So below here is essentially a little bit fast access of the parameters, which also have their own thing. So this part here down here is essentially already a kind of edit page, but if you want to go deep to C*1, you can click on the pencil and edit the things around. And as you can see, this one uses a model. And this is what we call the advanced page. So in the advanced page, you see down here, you still can play the pads, you can mute them, you can solo them, you can go edit. So if you think the snare, I need to edit, you can click on the pencil. Also down here. Here you can audition. So there's so much in the working workflow. If you are really deep into synthesis, you will really value the features inside Punch-2. The easy page is another cool thing, because if you have a groove, that one doesn't do, and the easy page is stored in the memory. It's more a fun page essentially, but it's called easy page, but it's more a fun page where you can tweak a preset. So if you have to, let's take another one, I'm not sure what is easy page. Can do some weird stuff. So that's the easy page, and if you of course added a preset, it will be, if you load in your song, it should be inside of it. But if you keep on using this one and you like to store this one, then you need to save the preset again, the kit again, as a new preset. So we had the advanced page, which is for each pad, where you have all the controls because it's synthesis. The easy page I just showed. The pattern page are the sequencers you can play around with. There's a modulation matrix where you also have additional LFOs, envelopes. Most of them are not that much use. You see, modulation wheel goes to the synth pitch. Then we have the FX page, which is for FX, which can be used in different ways. Down here you have then the 24 pads again, where you then select where it should go. So it's a very extensive FX section as well. Master section, I already mentioned. Down here we have a master EQ, compressor, limiter, additional filter, and here you have the volume controls and panning controls. You can solo, mute, color setting. Yeah, that's something. Some people like the color setting. If you pick global, the slices will appear, for instance, in yellow. But for the bass drum, I could pick them, for instance, purple. And you can save this. So because here you have this, you can save presets scheme or save global. So this you can make personal. Rex files can be loaded only on PC because on Mac it stopped working. Thank you, Mac, for messing up. So on Mac you cannot load Rex files, but you can do this on PC still. The code from Rex is very old from Reason, Propeller Head, and for some reason it stopped working on the most recent Mac computers. But you also can have your own. So that if you go to the manager again, you have then film score and TV. Most likely I put here something inside of it where I have slices. Let me see. Or is it in percussion and drums? Here we have the tabla groove. So let me see. No, this one doesn't have a slice. Where so if it will be a slice, these are simply grooves using these separate samples, you see. Okay, let me see if I find one with a slice. 1 second. Oh, I need to think, Rob, where you put that? There should be very cool ones, but I don't know what I call them. Oh, here's brush slice. So here you have slides, because I made them yellow. So slides, essentially, you can select how many pads and where you start. If I click on the first one, 19, you can see slides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are from 19 until 24. You can change that, and then here in the slices you can change the starting point. So here you see 2, pad 2, you can change that. And the cool thing is you can combine things together. So here combine slices means that all the slices down here I can increase the value. So note A3 is for triggering the sample. Make it a bit louder. Combine slices, which means that if I go down with the tuning, all the slices go down. But I also can do not combine, and then I can pick one here and edit, for instance, only number 5, for instance, slice 5. So I need to click down here 5, then you see that it's selected, and then I can change only 5. And you can have its own filter. So I can say, okay, make there a high pass filter too. Because the slice is on pad 23 and each pad has its own. But then you need to combine slices, you need to put that off. Otherwise you throw all the pads into the FX. So yeah, it's there is a very good tutorial, I think, about the slices. So most important, there are some small details here, is that once you load in a sample, you throw them inside the user sample base here. I can go up, down, see all kind of loops, even TA loops. See? And if I go combine slices, I can tune them all. Put grains on it. And if I put off combined slices, I edit them individually. If I click on them, by the way, you can audition them. Yeah, many features, but once you get to it, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's very hard to not put it in, because you won't, at a given moment, if you have the slices and the program only would do, let's say, only put them on the pads and you cannot edit them per pad, then people would ask, oh, I like to edit them. So in the end, you get all these features needs to be added. So let me see. Aha. Looking here. I'm looking for another one. I had this very modeling clap. No, I'm looking for it, guys. Sorry for that. Not sure. Is it in the SFX? No. Nice sounds, but these totally FX sounds. Because it's synthesis, you can... And one of the bang with very weird sounds is the E-body bang. or sample. So very cool stuff. But I was looking for one other ones. Let's go back to it. Yeah, you see sometimes this yellow pop up, it's loading then. Order by date, maybe. Ah, March, that's the one I was looking for. Yeah. Got the marching sound. So this is slice is starting now on pad 1 and pad 6. But that's how you load them in. So if you are here in the advanced page, you simply pick the first pad, which you like to start with the slices, and then you pick how many. So here you have the import loop. There you pick it, and then you select how many pads. Info section. Yeah. There's some text about how to use it. I think it's very hard to even change this in terms of user interface because so many features which you are going to use are inside of it. So each pad you can change the filter even if it is sliced, because this one, the first one is on this one. You see here it picks up, so if I go here, I put off slices. Combine slices. Weird. And what you also can do, by the way, if you click here, let's say this one, the second one, so that's pad 2. Click pad 2. As you see, it lights up a little bit. That is this one, C#. I also could pick here. So I put off combine slices, and I would say, okay, we reverse slice. That's down here. You see, that's the reverse. So that's down here. That's the reverse. So everything, the slice 2 is also combined with the slice 2 with pad number 2. But if you want, you can make the slices 16 or I think even more. But it covers, each slice covers a pad, and each pad has then the same options like the snare based on each pad has its own FX, its own filters, its own distortion. It's crazy what you can do. Okay, I hope this helps a little bit today talking about Punch-2. So there are in the playlist on YouTube, there are videos about how to use the color setup, and I think also about the slices. So yeah, many options. And what I did last time was making essentially a new analog drum machine. So let's go back to it. It's in my Rob Live folder. It's called Another Anadrum. New snare. Hi-hat. So I can change the sound. It's essentially, see here, it's a model, oscillator with a modulator. So this modulates this oscillator. You have an additional high-pass filter so that the low end does not. You have a filter, modulation type is FM. You see, I hear some random notes. I think, let's see where that one is doing. Amount, oh, here it is. Okay, so now I have a little bit of a cowbell. Do you hear that? And the other one, so because this pattern, it's pattern number, break 4 it is. So it's the note G4. And you see there's a panning going on, and also no tuning, but this one, okay, this track 2 has pad 11. You see, so now we have a cowbell, little cowbell. Back to the main, this one user. Yeah. And I can always press here. So it's pad 11, press solo. Now it's not that much of a cowbell. Now it's more cowbell. So this is a squeak. Let's do something else with this one. So really a typical squeak which you can hear by Kraftwerk, you know. So here you see a lot of things. Oscillator waveform is originally a curve high. No, not the high. You can have a tuned filter, additionally a filter envelope. If you don't use it, then it will not do anything. You have an additional click noise, and the punch is essentially the pitch. And then you have here, oh, that's the click noise. So I think what I planned in the future is a bit more explanation in what things do. For instance, this model 9, is pretty complex. Of course, you get some very interesting sound. We had the bass drum. We could have it tuned. It has distortion. Each pad has its own distortion. Now it sounds more like an 808. So, okay, the clap That's it to the clap. So I'm gonna save this one. Save preset as number 2. So you see, I'm working with synthesis to make totally new drum sounds instead of using samples. So this is... so let's go to the... It sounds as it's a snare, but also has a little bit of a clap sound, isn't it? I can change that snare. Changing the noise inside of it. Now it's different. Bass drum a bit lower. Yeah, and you see now we have a different, and that's what I want to do. In the couple of weeks, I will build up more presets for Punch, and maybe we also can update already some of the information. I mean, this one, the bass drum has a, with Model 1, has essentially no noise module. If you go to Model 2, it has an extra click or noise model, which sounds like a room, isn't it? And the cool thing is, here we have the spread, so it makes it really stereo. Yeah, isn't that cool? So I put that, so that's the difference between Model 1 and Model 2. Model 3 has a different approach. It has a tone which goes down and a separate punch. So it has a... so this. And on top of that, you get this punch. Overtone. Yeah, isn't that cool, guys? So, just like the CR-78, which is in this one, I think, in the first, this one, the famous. You can create all new kind of these type of sounds with Punch-2. And that was what makes it cool, because of the synthesis. So we had this number 2. And number 1, which was last week. Cool, isn't it? Okay. So that's the plan. So that in the very near future, you will receive many new presets for Punch-2, but also, I think, more explaining in the model, so that once you go into a model, that you don't think, oh my goodness, what does it do? Of course, you can tweak around, which is also fun. And one thing, of course, is also important to know, that we have per pad and per type of sound a lot of presets, because pad 1 has type bass drum, and then you have a folder with presets. So classic analog drums, but we have then hard kick drums. So we have... that's all on board. Good people. It's let me check the the chat room. I'm gonna play some music. Did I miss anything in the chat room? Yes, I think all. Was recording is the hello to the Reagan Regato beat pattern, never pattern loops for copyright. I'm not sure. I heard Punch-2 already of some of the commercials, so they are, if you use Punch-2 with one of the grooves in the commercials, don't worry. It's now ratcheting, it doesn't have ratcheting. That's a good point. I think we don't have room for it, even if we would update this page. Yeah, you have offset. So I have four sequences and one free row, but we don't have ratcheting. But what you can do, of course, if you have a sequence, you always can say, because here you can change the speed of each sequence or groove. So that's cool. So have speed. Possible. Yeah, it's a deep machine, but once you get your head around it, and of course it sounds amazing, high quality. It has a lot of punch. Okay, what is the other news? We work, of course, on new sounds, which will be for Punch-2, as just mentioned. We work also, of course, on new releases this year. And one of the new releases will be in the spring with a Raw Kick 2, a new FX we have planned, and Quad 2 is planned. Quad 2, because Quad is a very special synthesizer, originally designed for Reason only, but then people ask, oh, I like this phase distortion and wave shaping. Can you make could you release also a VST audio unit AX version? And we did that, but now in the VST we have, of course, more options, so it will grow again. The other news is that my music, I'm uploading my music to the known channels. That was my plan anyhow. At the end of the year, I had some extra time free, so I'm uploading all my songs to CD Baby, and from CD Baby it goes to Spotify, Deezer, YouTube Music, Apple Music, whatever. Of course, commercially it doesn't make any sense, but then this way people can discover the music. And that's what people do. They ask me, hey Rob, you also make music, can I find it on Spotify? And I only had a very old album on it. So I have the links in the description box to Spotify. If I click it open, you can see it here. Spotify, Space Float, which was already uploaded, is now again uploaded, is the short version. Red Clouds Beyond is a new track, which is on the CD. Looking Out is on the CD. Little Creek was already released on Spotify. Leaves. These are piano compositions. And then the older Daydreamer album. I uploaded Daydreamer as a whole album. Autumn Rain and Jubilee is there. So Berlin is Waiting, which you might know. We did that track during a live stream. Berlin is Waiting will be up here very soon. And I would say we have a few minutes. I go out with Red Clouds Beyond, which is a track from the latest album, Awaiting. So I'm going to play this one and going out now. Most likely once it is in a YouTube video, I get a copy strike for my own music, but that's going to be fun, isn't it? So Red Clouds Beyond, it's a relaxing song, and that makes you chill down after watching my video with lots of punch. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next week. We go out with Red Clouds Beyond.